Welcome to the Take It Home podcast so bad we really should just take it home. I am one of your hosts, Doc Simmons. You can find me on all social media at Doc Simmons 17. It's Skeleton Crew tonight, but I am joined by the number one ref in the Midwest. I'm gonna give him the hot tag. Introduce yourself.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Ref Perch here. You can find me at Perch XLV, # for the ref brand, and Waffles. Take It Home podcast.
Waffles. How was the breakfast this week?
Breakfast this week was not bad. Ended up having a nice, a sandwich from Sheba Hut, which is a cool place. Good sandwich, Parmesan chicken. That was my breakfast for the for the day over the weekend. It was really good. And I also made, for the first time in my life, chocolate chip muffins. Stayed with referee Max Recon the other week, and was talking to his daughter, and she showed me how easy it was to make muffins.
Yeah.
So I took that advice, and a week later, I made some good chocolate chip muffins.
Oh no, number one ref becoming a baker now, just enhancing those skills. Like always increasing our value.
Yep. And man, it goes good with milk.
I actually did have waffles this week. The lady was nice enough to make some waffles. She tried a new waffle recipe and it was very delicious, very crisp on the outside, light and fluffy on the inside. No complaints. Sheba Hut, though, that is a place I have been meaning to try like since I moved here. But the problem is it's downtown, and as of late, they've opened a bunch of Jersey Mike's a lot closer to my house, which just makes it harder to get the drive to go downtown. And
is there a Sheba Hut in Madison?
Yes, there is. It's actually, which is part of the reason why I don't go there. It is behind the Raising Cane's.
Oh, yeah.
So like if you remember, there's like there's like State Street right there, and then there's like that diagonal street connection. It's right there.
Oh, I wouldn't go there ever.
Yeah.
I see the dilemma.
Yeah, so it's step between a rock and a hard place.
It's a good place. If you're ever in one in Chicago, I've been to a couple of different ones. Really good. The Panama Red is my
Panama
go-to.
Red. Okay. All right. No, yes, I have. I've been trying to go there for a while, but there's just always much more other delicious foods around the way.
Oh yeah, and some good pizza. The worst part is having the best pizza, but forgetting the name of the place. So always take.
And that's the other part. The Ian's is also on that same street.
Oh yeah.
So
give me a pepperoni or cheese all day.
Yep. So it's horrible location. Horrible location. But since it is just me and Perch, I guess I'll have to do the tag team tag. So if you like me and Zach as a tag team, you can follow him at Zach Hendricks Brand on all social media, and you can catch us both at Country Air Official on Facebook and Instagram, and Country Air Brand on Twitter. Make sure you catch your mama's favorite tag team, those out-of-town shooters, putting on banger after banger, just like Perch, I'm sure, has a banger of the week.
Banger of the week this week, none other than The Carter from The Carter. Think about like best of all times. Some Birdman, some Lil Wayne. Yeah, I bumped that CD on the ride into Chicago this weekend, and just that song alone gets it going. But every song on that CD is just banging.
Oh no, yeah, can't go wrong. Can't go wrong with that. I've been on a big, about 2004 to 2010 run of music, and a lot of that has been the Carter 1 and 2. And then also remembering how good the Carter 3 was. Like, I don't think I appreciated it as much when it came out. I feel like 1 and 2 were instant classics. 3 has definitely formed.
1 and 2 as good as it gets. And Manny Fresh on that one, just that era is so good.
Oh, unfuckwittable. That's the
Yeah.
other thing.
And
It's been a
two,
lot of Manny Fresh beats on my playlist lately. Like, oh man, he was savant at that point, like on another level. We've talked about it a couple of weeks. Like, you talking about somebody that was on another level. Yeah, that mid 2000s Manny Fresh is
mhm,
can't be
so
beat.
good. So good. And this is the Carter. Yeah,
Yeah,
banger of the week for sure.
hell
Couldn't wait to spread that one to the Taken pod.
yeah. Awesome. And you've kind of already talked about what you listened to over the weekend. That's how we got our banger of the week. Why don't we talk about what we watched over the week? I know we talked about it a little bit, but I'll start until we get to where we can meet in the middle. I've been watching a lot of Netflix since I've had the time off and catching up on old shows. I watched Umbrella Academy. I finished the first season of that this week. Really enjoyed it. It was funny because you brought up Mary J. Blige, made it on to a banger week a couple weeks ago, and she is in that show, and she is fucking badass in that.
Ah,
Like I said, I don't like Mary J. Blige singing happily, and I guess I like her acting angrily. She's just pissed off and annoyed for like 10 episodes, and
oh,
it's great.
that's great.
So that was awesome. Been rewatching The Boys, up to episode 6 right now, or about to start episode 7. That's been fun to go back to and restart that. Um, Weird circumstance of events. We had been me and some of my boys back home had been talking about the Star Wars Clone Wars cartoon, and I had brought up the original that was done by Genndy Tartakovsky of Dexter's Lab and Samurai Jack fame originally. And then today I actually watched the first episode of Primal, which I have to highly recommend. If you did not like the latest Jurassic World or Park or whatever it was, definitely check out Primal. I just saw the first episode. It was super intense and immediately fell in love. Uh, but on to what this show's about, supposed to be about, wrestling. Did catch that Dynamite last week. And caught Rampage last week, and both were awesome. I think I am reminded though of I think I prefer an hour TV wrestling show because I thoroughly just enjoyed Rampage just more so overall. It's not like the 2 hours of Dynamite is bad, but like I was into Rampage. That Orange Cassidy match was great. The girls tag with Mercedes and Serena Deeb and Serena Curtin because she's a no good dastardly heel. Super into it. But as we said, last week, we got to see our homie. We can actually say former training partner for maybe an hour. Brody King in that main event with John Moxley. I just love how quickly they built Brody King into a monster. Going over on Darby the week before with the freaking sleeper hang and drop. And then they just had, good, intense, hard hitting match, like just big man style, and thoroughly enjoyed it. That's probably, my match of the week. As much as I did enjoy that Orange Cassidy match, I'm gonna have to give it to Brody and Moxley in that main event last week because it's probably my match of the week. That's about it as I saw on the wrestling front. I did watch a bit of the Impact pay-per-view from last week or 2 weeks ago, and I'm at that Speedball Bailey Trey Miguel match. So I had to stop because I want to sit down and focus on that. I heard that was amazingly fire. So I'll probably watch that as I'm editing this down. But mostly just catching up on my Netflixes. Some of my favorite animes came back. Overlord. Freaking at the time of this, the new Chainsaw Man chapter dropped last week or yesterday. Super fucking good. Happy to have that back. It's just been a good week of me catching up on media that I rarely have time to do when I'm wrestling all the time. So it's been very nice, very nice. What about you, Perch?
Hell yeah, dude. I watched a movie called The Long Hot Summer.
Mm.
It was with like Paul Newman from '58. Damn good movie. Just a classic. Good acting the entire time. Good story to it. Talk about just delivering lines and being a complete asshole. Like Paul Newman is so good. He doesn't back up and he makes you love him by the end of it. Very reminiscent of like a Triple H and how I really liked him. He was just a dick, and either you're gonna get with him or move aside, or it's it's on the viewer to decide. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. And then the Desperate Hours, Humphrey Bogart from, I think that was maybe the '50s, mid '50s. Um, Him and his two pals broke out of prison, and they go into like the suburban house and just the mom's home. And oh man, they take over the house, and the whole family comes home. Talk about like an early home invasion, freak you the hell out, like a early take on Strangers back in the day. But great movie. Humphrey Bogart is such a good bad guy.
Check that out. Strangers is one of my favorite thriller. I don't even consider it a horror. It's probably a thriller movie.
Yeah, and that's where this one has the elements of it. They're not as creepy, scary horror movie esque, but it's like the same situations. Like
Yeah,
whoa, dude's
yeah.
just no fear, heartless, ruthless. It's uh, it's a good one. The Desperate
Oh, good.
Hours,
Yep.
Humphrey Bogart,
Okay. Yeah, I'll watch that at home
and
because I remember watching. I saw Strangers in the theaters and had to drive through the woods home, and I was not happy about that.
oh, scary. And in this one, similar to Strangers, why us? Because you were home. In this one, it's kind of set like reason we took it here is because you had a bike out front. I mean, you have kids,
Yeah.
and kids aren't gonna aren't gonna mess around.
Mm.
But I'm with you, catching up on some good media. I love it. I like going back and watching some good ones. Those are a few that I caught over the past week or two. Takes me a few nights to catch those old ones.
Oh no,
Love it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm telling you, I've been like I said, freaking Umbrella Academy's like 10 episodes. It took me like 3 weeks to get through it.
I love it. A good story is a good story and good acting. Um, and wrestling wise, yeah, that Moxley against Brody King match was so cool. But I like the way Mox works, the choke. He took on that Nick Camarado maybe a year plus ago now, but just a big monster of a man. And we had to see how he was going to, face up against him. And he kind of went back to the strategy, working the bulldog, working the rear naked choke. Um, getting Brody, he was close to the ropes, but I mean, that's a big steam engine. When it's powering down, it's powering down.
Yeah.
And that was just a great ending. It didn't matter where it took place, it was going to, be contained and happen, and like a old John Claude Van Damme movie. These two went in and it was going to get settled. There's going to be some blood on the walls, some,
Mm.
some claw marks, and we'll see where the bodies lay at the end. But one guy's walking out, and the other's probably going to be laying there. So really, really enjoyed that match. Um, in lieu of having sports that night, I think like all sports were off, at least ones that I like. That one really hit the spot. That match had me going the next day. Um, and Christian, the way he's rocking the turtleneck and the evil and the grin, that face alone is just money. Everything that I try and do in pro wrestling comes down to really selling everything that I've got as a referee and facial expressions and really giving it. To see Christian do it, that's someone who I, listened to the podcast that he had with Edge for those years. Now several years ago.
Yep,
So
that was probably my
someone,
favorite one.
yeah,
All
like
of
that
them.
was such an awesome podcast and got me into probably joining the wrestling, knowing that it was okay to do so. Helped bridge the gap, and to see him rocking it the way he is now, my God, that's so cool.
Yep.
He's on another level.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Heel Christian, freaking like no shame in his game. Like, why am I going to stress about this? I would just make this money. Love it.
Hmm. But
Um,
yeah, good week.
Yep. Also, I would be remiss if I did not mention that Eddie Kingston, Kanosuke Takashita match that opened up Rampage. Eddie Kingston is the type to just be biting at his lips, salivating, getting all these Japanese guys to do all his dream all Japan spots, and it really shows. I had K Dot watching that one with me, and she really enjoyed it. That's the style we like. Just that hard hitting, freaking, and that German on the apron roll through, reverse into the T-bone. God damn, what a spot! I've had a lot of time to think, and it's spots like that. It's like, yep, I just need to stop holding back and start letting go. So if you start seeing some wild shit from me, just blame Eddie Kingston. But no, yeah, that one was super good, super good, super good. Now that we've talked about that, why don't we talk about what we did this weekend? You've probably got the bulk of it, so why don't you start? Let us know what you did.
Yeah, it was at Logan Square Auditorium in Chicago, which has kind of become kind of a go-to place over the past couple of years. It's an awesome venue and always a fun time. And this weekend, it brought Women's Wrestling Army, which is ran by Maria Kanellis and Bobby Cruz. Really a good shades of the Women of Honor from Ring of Honor. That's got a lot of the similar vibe and a lot of the women who were most recently with them. We did 2 days worth of TV tapings. The first night, I think 11 matches between ref Jeremy and myself. A full 11 straight through.
11 straight through?
11 straight through.
Oh.
It was the most efficient, wonderful, done by 10:23.
Well, yeah, I guess, if it's for TV, there's probably not going to be too many super long matches, I guess.
So, what were the matches? Maybe, 10 to 15 each one that I ended up having. And a couple of main events, I think some cool big fight feels. Holiday was representing her new Texas or her Mission Pro championship, which is pretty cool. Trisha Dora was there. Deanna Perrazzo was there. Tootie Lynn, Lainey Luck, Missa Kate. Lots of good wrestlers that I got to meet for the first time and then work with for the first time. G.S. Scott was there, who I think was with ROH back when we were, setting up and stuff. I can't recall if I had refed one of her matches in the past or not, but awesome wrestler, very cool. Brooke Valentine was there for the couple days tapings. Very cool. Allison Danger was there. Awesome female wrestler, and she ended up kind of like giving a good seminar the next day, like day 2. So I just sat in and sat in with the women, and took my notes and just took so much out of it. It was wonderful to be a student of the game, and to be a man and a referee from Milwaukee representing professional wrestling, all different cultures and backgrounds and nationalities and genders and everything. It was cool to be a part of it, and to hear Bobby Cruz ring announce. That hit home.
Yep.
That hit home. And the first night was on fire and electric, and the crowd maybe even doubled the next day. And they had just an unbelievable next night, maybe 10 matches at night 2. First night I had 6. Second night, I think I had 6 as well.
Ooh.
So a good 12. I think 12 is what I hit last weekend too with the GCW and the as
Yeah,
many
that
days.
was like over 4 or 5 days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the weekends kind of, average around that 12 range is what I'm seeing. Give or take. It's the way it works. Getting reps on independence, learning from the highest levels and um, making magic inside the ring with everything. It takes a whole village to make everything happen. It's cool to get that experience, and yeah, to even be blessed to say there were 12 matches. There's 12 individual hand wrapped gifts and presents that are delivered on any given holiday. That could be one beautiful thing each month. Um, and that's happening, on a weekend here. Very cool, very fun time. Can't wait to see the tapings as they come out. Stay tuned, and they'll be posted on social media for sure. Women's Wrestling Army, I think, has their own website that it'll be on.
I believe
Maybe
so.
a subscription service. Um, Something along those lines. YouTube, I imagine too, with some good YouTube exclusive. I worked
Probably.
with that.
Everybody, you get if you're gonna do it, you gotta have your social media game up, and I know they do have theirs. I do believe they have their own website and probably some free matches on YouTube. It's great to see another women's promotion coming on strong like that. A lot of people say in this era, we are not in the era of the territories. We are totally in the era of the territories. The territories have just gotten a lot bigger. And lines have been drawn a bit different than before. But we got Women's Wrestling Army up here, like you said, Mission Pro down there in Texas. So it's more wrestling the better. I know they've got I want to say it's Bree Combination Wrestling up in New York, doing their thing on the East Coast. I think Black Girl Magic runs on the East Coast too. So it's just good, more wrestling the better.
Mm-hmm.
Me myself was doing the adult things this weekend and house hunting. It's about that time. Start investing in some property. So I've been looking for houses lately. If you know anybody selling a house cheap, please let me know. That would be appreciated. House hunting sucks, and it's super expensive. Everything's super expensive. Besides that, like I said, having these weekends off, just relaxing. Still working out and lifting hard. Come back bulky as shit. I'm the greatest heavyweight of all time, so I'm gonna come back thick. But that's just not even a weekend thing. Been mostly an everyday thing. Plan to get in some more grilling this weekend. Weather's been awesome here in the Midwest lately, so I've been enjoying that. Just cooking a bunch, lifting a bunch. It's living my best life. Can't complain. And with that, I think it's time we get into the topic for tonight. I think it's very timely. We are a very tag team appreciative podcast. Mostly because we got your mama's favorite tag team on here, so we talk about it all the time. But lately we've seen some shakeups, some breakups. Namely, most recently, sadly, we saw Cora Jade and Roxanne break up on NXT. That they just won the titles 2 weeks ago. But you can say, hey, this is a moment to build up Roxanne. You hate to see a breakup, but there are some that stick with you. So I asked, hey, what's your favorite breakup? I kept it very general because there are a lot of breakups in wrestling. Since it's just me and Perch, probably just shoot them back and forth. I've got to go starting off, you might as well with the classic. Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty in the barbershop. It's iconic as it gets. And how crazy of a route, you see their careers go after that. Michaels goes on to be the man for a bit, have to back out because he gets hurt, comes back even better, backs out because he gets hurt, comes back amazing, puts on the classics with Taker and Triple H and the I'm sorry moment with Ric Flair. You get him in NXT, teaching, some of the top guys now in the wrestling business, that we look back on it. And then you got Marty Jannetty, who may or may not have killed people. So, it's crazy what a breakup will do to you. What about you, Perch?
Yeah, straight up. Yeah, first one that came to mind was Stephanie McMahon and Test.
Ooh.
They got broken up by Triple H.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
That was the worst one. Even back then, you could even say it was good because it was the Attitude Era. We knew that was bad.
it was like we all got invited to that wedding.
Yep.
And they had to split up urgently.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah, that one ended up being cool for years to come. One that I ended up seeing clips from and have heard the stories, but never actually saw the footage until just yesterday. Bruno San Martino was the man back in the day. Held the WWF title for years on top of years. So a big time Northeast. He sold out Madison Square Garden, and he had a young protege, Larry Zbyszko, a man who I just remember from WCW video games.
Yep.
In WCW. And he had trained him and taught him everything. And he came out to the ring with him all the time. And everyone was behind him, like big time. And then when the time was right, maybe a year or two into it, I saw Larry turn on Bruno. And he had the ropes open for him, and he kicked him and beat him up and bloodied him up and took a chair out and started smashing him with it. Larry Zbyszko went nuts on Bruno. And it was like a mega, sold, probably maybe Madison Square Garden time and time again, but they probably did a mega show with their rivalry. Those cool stories of old school wrestling.
Hell yeah.
In old school.
Yep. Speaking of old school and mega, you got to go with the Mega Powers Explode. I was never a big Hulk fan, but always loved me Randy. So yeah, watching it back, super excited to see Randy turn on Hulk Hogan, try to get at his woman.
Yeah, in Milwaukee too.
Yep. Panther. Legendary wrestling in Wisconsin again. But yeah, that's definitely one of my favorites. I always preferred Randy over Hulk, and for him to go after Hulk like that, because Hulk is always a dirty guy. You listen, that's why I love that's probably why I love Bobby the Brain Heenan so much. He always knew Hulk was a cheating bastard. He always knew. Nobody believed the Brain. Nobody believed Randy. But I did.
He always knew.
And another one, as for me, the first one that came to my mind when I brought this up was probably like the first one I saw when it happened and hurt me. And it's got to be Matt Hardy and Lita. That breakup, when she goes to Edge. Betraying Team Extreme. We talk about it all the time. That's like our tag team era. I was definitely Hardy's and Dudley's were my favorite. It's just depending on the situation. I eventually became more of a Dudley's guy, but who didn't love Lita back then? Who was doing what she was doing back then? And then as you're older and you hear the stories and that's real, a lot of that stuff, it just makes it even worse. But I remember that one. I hated Edge back at that time, and just to see Edge take my favorite girl away from one of my favorite wrestlers was just infuriating. Infuriating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and speaking of, that was one that I remember vividly as a breakup from watching it, was when Christian was like, dude, Edge, you got to get here quick. Like something happened with Bomb. Like it's bad. Like it's bad. And then Edge came running out and met him backstage. And then Christian just had it set up and beat the hell out of Edge. He turned on him. Oh, I did not see that one coming when it did happen. And that was like the WCW Invasion era.
Yeah.
But yeah, when Christian turned on Edge, that one caught me. Like, I didn't really even like them that much. They were always the heels for me.
Yep.
I didn't know what a heel was. I just didn't like
their dumbass 5-second pose.
Yeah, I was such a Hardy Boy fan. And Edge and Christian always ended up winning.
Yeah.
And yeah, but when they broke up, I was like, whoa, it just caught me by such surprise. And then I ended up liking the both of them individually a lot. And I was like, I like these guys on their own. I like the split.
One that I have only seen the clip for, but I think it is important for me to mention because I got back into wrestling after, like literally like the next night. It's got to be the Shield breakup. Seth turning on Dean and Roman. I just happened to see the clip of it, and I was like, oh, you know what? I haven't watched wrestling in a while, and I happened to watch Raw that Monday, and that was it. Yeah, I was back into it, back being addicted. So like not one that I saw at the time, and one that I've only seen the clip. So like don't really have the best context for it, but I don't know if that hadn't happened, I might not be back in wrestling. So that started that heel run of Rollins, which Holland, he's a great heel. Like I wanted him to lose all the time. Damn corporation, always getting in the way. Triple H being back to being, my hated heel once again. It got to me again. So I got to give props to that one.
Oh yeah, that was a good one, and the way it was done, the way it was crafted, and it makes me think back to the big Evolution and the thumbs down.
Oh yeah, how you talk about favorite one because
yeah, like
those breakups,
because one and Triple H playing a part. That was
all of them, both of them. The Randy and the Batista one. The Randy, you feel for him and you're excited. Randy's on his rise, and you're just saying, don't trust Triple H, don't trust Triple H, don't trust Triple H.
And Triple H was crafting it, and he turned when the time was right. It was always just firing on all cylinders, and that the feuds that came out of it were just yes. If VHSs were still a thing, I would have the VHS collection of each one of those feuds. The whole Evolution run and the feuds that they had coming out of it.
And then just, simple storytelling. You just do the same thing again, but with a different guy. Set it up the same, but this time you swerve the ending. And I was so excited because as much as I had loved Randy on his come up, that Batista come up, I was even more hooked, and screaming at the TV when Triple H is in there, telling them which contract to sign. It's like, this just happened. You did it. You did it. Do not trust him. And you get the glorious thumbs down. It's power bombs, Batista bombs everywhere. Just wonderful. Like definitely during one of like the heights of my fandom. The Evolution breakup. How could I forget about that one?
That was a great one. Definitely, kept the fire going for being a fan of pro wrestling.
Yeah, definitely. that's about all I have for those. Do you have any other ones you want to talk about, Perch?
Yeah, remember was it Billy and Chuck and their
Billy
wedding?
and Chuck.
That was a big ruse and
Yeah.
breakup, and
Uh,
they went their ways.
heartbreaking.
Be lying if I wasn't strung along the entire way, just like
Yeah.
everybody else.
Underrated entrance song, Billy and Chuck. Loved it.
Yep, that whole era was great, and they definitely went on for a long time.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Good tag.
Some would say they overstayed their welcome. I say not.
Was that when Bischoff was pre the master of ceremonies with the
I
face?
believe so. Yeah.
Ripped his face off, and it was Bischoff all along.
Uh, they don't put that type of effort into anything anymore.
No, no,
Um,
not at all, not at all. But I definitely had some VHSs that had that angle. Just
um,
the Booker T era Monday Night Raw was great.
yeah.
Yeah, and the invasion, and there were breakups left and right. The Dudley Boys ended up getting broken up. With
Yep.
the aft that came up was like, whoa, we're splitting. Yep,
And
just
that was
thing.
you know, freaking right to censor the cause of so many breakups. You
Mhm.
know, at that time. Oh, freaking another one. How could I forget? Molly turning on a hurricane.
Oh yeah,
Mm,
yep, didn't see that coming.
nope, did not. That one hurt. That one hurt. You know, love, you know, Molly. Holly was the sweetheart at first. I was always a Helms fan, always a Helms fan. And then when he became the Hurricane with a tribute to Green Lantern, I was over the moon. Starts forward his superhero band and freaking leaves him from another man for no reason.
Yeah,
Oh, that one, yeah,
and
that one really hurt. Anytime somebody turns on on my man Helms the Hurricane, any damage to him, I immediately hate you. Okay. That one was, yeah, that was a rough one too. And you brought up Billy, and that also reminded me of a recent one. Billy and the Acclaim, man. I was loving that. It was loving Scissor Me Daddy. Like I was down. I was feeling it. I was hoping he would leave his sons.
Billy's still breaking up.
Yep, still doing
20
it every time. It's terrible.
Oh, it's too funny. Gotta love pro wrestling.
Yep, yep. Still getting worked. Still getting worked.
I like the feud between Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns. They were never a tag, but I mean they were great combustible opponents. And
Yeah.
and now that they split up, but you know they split up.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, yeah, they stopped working each other.
That was a great feud. I loved it.
No, yep. Yeah, they were married to each other, you know, as we say on the road.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was a good one. That was a good feud. Like I really thought Roman should have turned during theirs.
Oh, just loved it for what it was. That
Yep.
was great. Didn't know who was good, bad, indifferent. Just two pro wrestlers going at it,
I mean,
and they
yep.
had good chemistry together.
They did. They did. Sad to see that one go. All right. Why don't we talk about what we got coming up this week? Um, let's see, I can go ahead and go first. Friday, I will be helping out at AAW. This is the only thing I'm doing this month. Just some manual labor. So should be a good time. You know, always a great locker room. See all the homies. They made some announcements today about some other people coming. Eric Young, you know, super intense guy. So it'll be good to see him again. The homie Calvin Tankman got announced. He'll be making his return. Always a good homie. So it'll be good to see those guys there. You know, they released a card. Card looks great. Super excited to be back. see Merle because I was supposed to basically spend the weekend with Merle, but one show changed up. But Merle and his ring crew is always a good time. Hope you've been watching what's going on with him, BD, and Donovan leading into 3 Rings of Doom in August. That's been great. So it'll be fun to get an update on that this weekend. Saturday, I'll be chilling with the girl and some of her friends. I think playing putt is the plan. It's been a long time since I've played some putt, so looking forward to that. It was never very good, but I could usually at least get 1 hole in one. So looking forward to that. What about you, sir?
Yeah, kicking it off Friday night at AAW. Going to be a great night of action. I will see Dre Homie in the house. Sierra will be in action.
Yep.
I think she's got a title fight. So
no, she's #1 contenders.
That's it. #1 contender to see who goes on face for the title.
Yes.
Regardless, you and I, whether we're in there or not, will be in her corner.
Yep.
Like the Rocky corner, man. Come on, Sierra, you got this.
Oh yeah, Milwaukee strong style. Let's do it.
Podcast supports Sierra big time. we wouldn't know much about wrestling if it wasn't for someone like Sierra.
Yep, we're rooting for everybody in Milwaukee.
Yep, straight up. Gotta love it. And gonna be a fun time. That'll be a blast. I think we're doing some AAW Alive tapings beforehand, and then the main show on Fight TV at 7:30 Central. Big time. Stacked lineup. Gonna be some fun matchups. I can't wait. And then Saturday we've got Brew City Wrestling back in the house. Been a while since it's lined up for me to be able to work with Brew City again. So take every chance I can. And we're back on the road for a fair show Saturday morning, I think up in Port Washington. A half hour, 45 minutes north of Milwaukee. Should be a nice Saturday afternoon show. And then we're heading down to Waukesha Elks Lodge for an awesome show that night. So a double header. Brew City on Saturday. Going to be awesome to see everybody, to plug in and set up that ring and tear it down and get to the next town and set up and tear down and have a few shows in between.
Oh yeah, ring setup to be fun, Perch. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Lots of new guys over there, Brew City. I'm sure you're gonna have fun. Make sure they know the ways.
I love it. Take every day as if it were your first day. I'm going to take it with wide eyes and enjoy every moment of the day. So, going to be a fun weekend all around. Can't wait.
Hell yeah, brother. Looking forward to it. Let's get this weekend going because work had sucked this week. And with that, I think we can finally start taking it home. So, any final thoughts or questions, brother?
Shout out to the Merle Ring crew and Donovan and Zach and BD. Donovan was rocking the ring bell over the weekend. Big time help night 1. Night 2, he ended up getting on the show. So it was very cool to see Donovan rocking it. I ended up ringing the bell once night 2, and I would have flipped that bell like it was a board game, and I lost. Just awful.
The importance of your timekeeper and a good bell cannot be overstated. You never realize how important it is until it goes wrong.
And I put a lot of thought into ringing the bell, so it's almost like too much thought when doing it, but it's a job that can't be overlooked, and anyone who does it and rocks it. So wanted to give a shout out to Donovan and much love. Way to rock it. Did a great job that night 1 all night as the bell ring and rocked it onto the show the next night. So very cool.
Hell yeah, brother. For me, as always, my final thoughts are: be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Follow us on all social medias. Tweet at us, send us Instagram pictures, Don't DM us. We don't like to answer our DMs. Be sure to follow all the promotions we work for. Be sure to tell promotions to book us. I might have to start a new hashtag. Don't like it, book it. Tell promotions to book us. We want to come wrestle and perform in front of you guys. All right. But with that, this has been the Take It Home podcast. Y'all be
Wait, one last question. It just popped into my mind. Who's your favorite Star Wars villain?
ooh. Because we were
You
talking
mentioned
about it.
DM, so I thought Darth Maul, but so I had to ask you. But who's your
um,
favorite villain in Star Wars?
yeah. We talked about it a little bit before the show. I was reminded of the Genndy Tartakovsky Star Wars series, and I really enjoyed that General Grievous and the story
Yeah.
of him taking all the lightsabers that you get in that series. A big General Grievous fan, but by far my number one Star Wars villain, and I don't consider him a villain, he's just pragmatic, is Thrawn. A character from the novels, and from he might have been in Clone Wars. I haven't finished Clone Wars. I know he's in Rebels, but he is my favorite Star Wars villain by far. Um, hey, light spoilers. When they were making the plans for the Death Star, Thrawn was like, "That's stupid. I'm just gonna go get more ships." And I really appreciate that. That's a good villain. Like, why would we just invest in one giant battle station? Just get more ships. So big fan of that. What about you?
That's great. Yeah, hands down, best villain. I think the movies revolve around him, and it's the story of him the entire time. One of my favorite villains of all time, the man who gets thrown down the chute at the end, the Emperor. Oh man, he is the best. And Palpatine, and seeing how he orchestrates everything. Uh, those first, 6 movies were all about him. And then, the next, 2 movies came out, and then I saw the preview for the 9th one, and I thought I heard what may have been his voice. And man, I'll be damned if I didn't go to the theater that week and I had a big old foam Star Destroyer. No, I didn't, but I wanted to. But yeah, the Emperor. He earned my hard-earned cash when I knew he came back. So he's my favorite villain, and just the way he has those conversations where he just twists and manipulates everything, and he tells the stories and plants the seeds. And people say Jar Jar Binks wasn't much of a character, dude. If Palpatine couldn't manipulate Jar Jar, he wouldn't have, had the basis of what he needed to get done in the
Yeah,
Senate. So
yeah.
it's like he needed him, and Palpatine played him for a fool, but don't everybody else play him for a fool?
No, yep. His fate is unfortunate later in the series. I know a lot of people did have problems with Palpatine coming back. Me
Oh, I
personally,
love it.
I don't mind it. And I think your problems are fixed had they put Thrawn in it leading up to Palpatine.
I like to think he was hanging on by a claw after he got, thrown down the chute from Darth Vader. Talking about a twist.
Yeah, and I mean, even if that, we always, me and my friends, our response to scam calls and texts have been lately. Have you ever heard the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise? So it's the dark side of the Force leads to a lot of things that some people would call unnatural. So I think surviving being thrown down the chute is one of those things. So I completely believe Palpatine coming back. I just think the problems you have with that connection would have been fixed had Thrawn been in there like he should have been.
Oh yeah.
Just me personally, love me some
Uh,
Thrawn.
so Palpatine had that epic battle with Yoda, where they were just destroying that place. Did Thrawn have any epic battles?
No, Thrawn is more tactician. He
Okay.
outsmarts people. Not, I mean, he can fight, but he's more more tactician. Grand Admiral Thrawn, he leads a large fleet of ships, so he can't be too concerned with one-on-one fights. Not a force user, just super smart, always thinking like 12 steps ahead. It's great. It's great.
Cool. Well, I love the story of Star Wars just as much as Star Wars itself.
Yep. It's a great, like, down to its core, it's a great story. It has its problems like anything else, but at its core, it's a great story.
Good characters, good fights.
Hell yeah. Can't ask for much more. All right. Now, finally, with that, I think that's the best place. Nerding out a little bit more on this episode. That's the best place to take it home. This has been the Take It Home podcast. Y'all be easy. 1.
Yeah.